It's Bordeleau, low, 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 low. Oh, welcome in, boys and girls. I think we're all in a good mood after that one, aren't we? Show 161, the Pucknologists, our penultimate show of the 21-22 season. It's the After Dark Takeover. Welcome back to your unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, and commercial-free Sharks podcast here on Teal Town, USA. Oh boy, this time around we're going to talk about 4 Sharks games played this week. Adidas is being sued. I might have had something to do with that. Did you know that yesterday was the 3rd year anniversary of Game 7? If you didn't, then you must not have any form of social media. We're also going to announce a giveaway tonight, but first, as always, help us out, man. Remember to subscribe, follow us on all that social media. If you'd like to help support the content we deliver, keep us commercial free, you can always donate using the super chat option during the live show or throw a tip into our Venmo jar at Teal Town, USA. And if you're not watching this live on YouTube, make sure to add your take in the comments section below, because let's be honest, Ian gets lonely. He needs somebody to talk to, and give this video a thumbs up. Hey now, boys and girls. Hey, who's this fucking guy?
This is the angry Canadian robot who actually, you can hear me, I'm hoping.
I hear you fine. You might want to check the YouTube. Oh, you better break out that Sharpie and a stack of paper.
Oh man, never again.
So, audio check for everybody in the chat. Can you all hear Ian? Because that's really what it's all about. Hockey Jerk gave the Sharks the bump. If you didn't think that the bump existed, well, there you go. The jerk bump comes. Why is it that Vegas has such a hard time playing San Jose in extra frames? We don't know. Well, look, it's a takeover, so that means we start with the last game first. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Overtime win, shootout win for the Sharks. Hey, the hell now. Reimer gets the start. Hey, what does it say, Ian, that everybody literally outside of Vegas is rooting against Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, it says plenty. I mean, obviously, look at it, especially like for a team like I was really, it's funny how like my mood has changed in the last 15 minutes. Because I was really salty. I was like coming on, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm going to spit some venom tonight. It's going to be just, it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show regardless. But I have slightly less venom to spit than 15 minutes ago. I think it says a lot, especially for a team like Dallas. Like everyone's like, oh man, we got to pull for Dallas. We got to pull for Dallas. Like I said this on Twitter. I'm like, you know, when the Sharks are losing, it's like there's going to be a whole lot of talk about how could the Sharks do this to Pavs. Bitch, the Stars have won 2 of their last 6, and their wins have come against the Sharks and the Kraken. So, like,
yeah, not world beaters.
No, I mean, you got to help yourself at some point, right? It's like, how could the Sharks do this? I mean, like, how can you do this to yourselves? The Dallas Stars, they're like, they have everything in their favor, and they are doing everything in their power to drag themselves out of it.
Yeah, it's mind-numbing. At least LA, they get that 3-game win streak, and you're like, okay, all right, we're you know,
LA I can get behind. At least LA's taking care of their own business,
right? And basically has made it impossible for Vegas. Their only path is the wild card.
Correct.
So anyway, yeah, this one I feel you on spitting some shit. Thompson gets the start in Vegas because look, what is Vegas doing with? Was it just yesterday, day before, or whatever? They even showed it at one point during the game where it's like, Leonard's going to be gone for the rest of the season, and then like DeBoer comes along and goes, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He's going to be here like tomorrow starting. What?
Yeah.
Like, does nobody talk on this team when it comes to the goalies?
they're this team's fascinating. This is going to be, I think, regardless of what happens, if they make it, if they don't make it, I think this summer is going to be a fascinating summer for the Golden Knights. And I don't say that like, I do say that somewhat morbidly, but at the same time, like, you know me, like I like the business of hockey, right? Like I like watching how teams react to things in the off season. So yeah, there's a little bit of morbidity to it because it's the Golden Knights. And look at, I'm a Sharks fan. I don't like the Golden Knights. That's just the way it is. I don't like the LA Kings. I don't like the Anaheim Ducks, right?
But you also enjoy chaos.
Right, but I enjoy chaos. Like there's certain things where, you know, I think it's fascinating. Logan Thompson, I really like Logan Thompson. I'm surprised that he hasn't been given more rope this season. I know they were, I think it was, who's their other goalie? I think Laurent Brossoit.
Yeah, Brossoit.
He's been playing a lot of games for them as well. I'm surprised that they haven't given Logan Thompson more leash than they have, because I think he's really, really good.
Dude, I don't know what the hell's going on with that anyway, but So, I mean, no team ruins goalies like Vegas. This has been proven. You lost Fleury for nothing. Look, the top line comes through again after it was mentioned that I guess Bugner kind of sat down with both Timo and Hurdle and said, you know, hey guys, look, I understand we got like 5 games left. I still need more from you guys. You need to pave the way and show the younger guys how it's done, be the standard. We only have one line. I hate to tell you, it's you.
Yes, true. That ain't wrong.
So Hurdle makes it 1-0. Are you surprised that DeBoer didn't challenge for goalie interference on that first goal?
Yes, given our history with Peter DeBoer and just like the fact that he usually challenges everything, I was surprised a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad he didn't, because I think that could have been, a call. But you know, Peter DeBoer's challenges are abhorrent, so I'm really not surprised, because I think that one actually had a chance. So I guess, yeah, now that I think of it, no, I'm not really surprised.
So Stevenson ties it on a power play. Certainly didn't take long there.
No.
For, you know, Meyer, I think, is probably the storyline on this, because he takes 2 stupid penalties, but he ties it with a second left.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was part of the reason why I was really salty coming into, like, before kind of things turned for the Sharks there, like in that last little bit. But because, you know, Timo Meyer basically gave the Golden Knights some bulletin board material, and I didn't really think, at least up until the end of the game, he didn't really have the game to back it up. And it's one thing to, like, you know, give bulletin board material and then, you know, have like an okay game, but like to have just like, I thought his game was kind of rough for a lot of it. Like those penalties both were really dumb. I know the broadcast was saying that they thought that Vegas probably sold it a little, but I mean, like, Timo Meyer's stick was stuck in the guy's skate. Like, how do you know? How is that how is he selling that?
Well, dude, the thing I find so funny about that particular play is I have a specific memory of Brendan Dillon. The same exact thing, gets a stick stuck in his skate, and it was no call. And it's like even the announcers are going, it's in his skate. How do you not call that?
Right. No, exactly. Right. Like that, like it was a clear as day penalty. And I just, yeah, I'm just liking the chat here. We've got deborrent, which I think should be a word. You guys, we see a couple of Vegas fans in the chat. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us.
Yeah, welcome.
But you're welcome to take that with you.
Oh boy, so we got Timo did miss on the breakaway coming out of the box, and it is what it is, but Pat Chiarelli goes top shelf
again. What a save by Logan Thompson on that play, though.
Oh yeah, hell of a save there, but Pat Chiarelli goes top shelf to make it 2-1. Dude, that's one Reimer has to save. That one, I was a little like, ooh, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it, but I also didn't like the defense on that play either. So it's like one of those things where it's like nothing went right. A little bit of a weaker goal for James Reimer will allow, but man, the shit James Reimer's done this year, I have a hard time being super critical of him at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, for me, I had him as player of the year for the Sharks in my book. But yeah, I don't know. Just felt like he had the yips a little bit. I was a little surprised they didn't go with Kahkonen in this one, just because he's been so good and in just the small sample size that he's been a Shark. But either way, Carrier makes it 3-1. Then Bonino comes in, makes it 3-2. When Roy made it 4-2, I was like, nah, fuck. But Bonino comes through again, it's 4-3, and you're going, all right, well, look, it's another goddamn loss in the month of April where the Sharks lose by 1 goal. Like, literally every game they've lost in April has been by 1 goal when you take the empty netters out of the equation. It's all been 1 goal, and I'm like, fuck, man, here we go again. But Meier comes through, ties it with a second left, not somewhat reminiscent of Barabanov a couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, so look, how happy are you that Nieto not starting in overtime?
I was nervous, right? Because I'm like, they have to go for it. Like, if they throw, like, Nieto out there, Gregor out there, like, I'm just, like, I don't think there'd be anything left in this room for me to do the show. Like, it would just be, you'd just see chaos and damage everywhere, I think. Because, like, to get back in the game the way they did, and, like, again, like, we know the score, right? Like, obviously Vegas people are gonna be like, oh man, the Sharks are celebrating like they just won the cup. Man, like, have you watched our season? Our season's been fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Right?
Give us our cookies.
So it's like, we'll take this one, right? Yeah, we know in the grand scheme of things it doesn't matter. We're, one of our teams is definitely not watching playoff hockey, at least our own team.
Mm-hmm.
The other remains to be seen. Like, we know the score. Don't get us wrong. But, like, man, I'll take it.
Well, dude, I mean, wasn't it like the Sharks haven't beaten Vegas since 2019?
Probably. I mean, you would think 2019 was yesterday with the way the Sharks bring it up on such a regular basis.
You're
but
right. Dude, is this Bugner's first win over Vegas?
Might be.
Dude, that's something.
Might be his last, too.
Yeah. Oh, hey now. I see Lacey in the chat. Can somebody confirm that? Was this Bugner's first ever win over Vegas? Man, yikes.
It's got to be.
That's what I'm thinking. But so Meier sends it to OT. The 3-on-3, there was a couple yikes minutes in there, moments, if you will. And then Burns slashes. I don't know. It looked like a cup check to me, but anyway.
Yeah, I did. At first, I was like, well, that was pretty weak. And then on replay, I'm like, cup check on a breakaway. Yeah, okay. That's ballsy.
Literally. And so Vegas gets like a minute and a half of power play time to end, 90 seconds, the final 90 seconds of the 3-on-3, and we go to the shootout, and the only one to score, Bordeleau. Are you fucking kidding me? Bugner on Bordeleau after the game, he says, not a lot rattles Bordeleau, and you can't teach that skill. Dude, I agree. Dude, I love this kid. My next jersey is gonna be a fucking Bordeleau, bro.
Yeah, man. This kid is the real deal for sure. And I've been like, because you never know how, like, obviously when guys come from like playing college to the NHL, like, you never know how that's gonna go, right? So I'm always a little leery, man. But like Bordeleau, like any little thing where I thought, man, like maybe he's going to be on the NHL team next year, but he might start the Barracuda, and that's fine. Man, if this kid's not on the NHL roster next year, it's I don't know, it's abhorrent.
Nice. Oh, VNMSS coming in hot with the donation. Thank you so much for that. Love the shows. Keep up the solid work. Reimer equals MVP in my opinion, and I hope Bordeleau is here to stay. What a kid. Oh man, could not agree with you more, sir.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, I understand goals are sexy, but I was surprised that James Reimer wasn't the MVP as voted for by the media. Media do better.
And the funny thing is, well, he didn't get player of the year, right? That was Timo, but he did get media good guy of the year. But I will tell you, on my ballot, I did have Reimer as the MVP of the team. So, hey, I got it right.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, Timo Meier's had a really good season, right? Like, I mean, considering, if you rewind the clock a year ago, this time, people wanted to launch Timo Meier into the sun.
Yeah.
Right. So, so he's had a really, really good season, like, considering like where he was. But like, I don't know. To me, the way James Reimer gave this team chances to win game after game after game, I don't understand how he's not the MVP. And it's fine. Like it's a fluff reward, right? Like it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world, but I don't understand it.
Well, I'm going to be, with Bordeleau, I'm real interested to see how the quote unquote, the pairs are deployed, because I know when DeBoer was the coach, he loved his pairs, right? It's always these two guys, and then we'll just bolt in someone here. These two guys will bolt in someone. So it feels like we might get back to that, and I can see it's like, okay, so the pair is what? It's going to be Couture, Dahlin, and somebody else, or it's going to be Hurdle and Baraban, or Couture, Meyer, somebody else, Hurdle and Barabanov, somebody else. You got Bordeleau and Balsers, somebody else. I don't know. Dude, that Bordeleau kid's going to sell some tickets, let me tell you, next season.
I hope so. It would be nice. It's unfortunate that the one thing about the Sharks being asses, because you could feel like during like the Sharks' heyday, right, when the Sharks were winning a lot of series and we thought they were a cup contender, and the tank was full. Like you could feel, like even without being there, you could feel that energy, and it's just so not there anymore.
No doubt. Although it was pretty good last night, but
last night was definitely better, but
1 of 41.
But you know what I mean? Like it's just the tank, the atmosphere in the tank. Like I've never been to the tank, obviously, so I can't speak to it, but you could feel it through like whatever device you're watching on the TV. If it's 10 years ago, now my monitor or whatever, but like you could feel that energy, and I would love to see the Sharks get back to that at some point. Because it's better when the fans are going crazy. Just makes the game more fun.
I love it. And stick taps to the Vegas fans tonight. I mean, they were clearly up because look, they're so much is riding on the line for them. So they do pick up 1 point, but boy, I don't see them getting past St. Louis. I don't see that St. Louis is just killing people right now. They're a buzzsaw. It's all for me. That game against Dallas on Tuesday. If they lose that, it's over.
It's over. But I mean, like, again, like this is where Dallas has to help themselves too.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine if Pavelski gets the game-winning goal in that?
Oh jeez.
Sharks Twitter will explode again. Oh my Lord. But look, to kind of put the bow on this one, and for the Vegas fans that are here, again, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button while you're here, because I mean, we like to poke the bear. We like to have a little fun here. Lord knows Vegas fans has had a lot of fun at our expense. So but it's all in good fun. But let's be honest. This is a rested Vegas team that came in, like, had Vegas won, which I'll be honest, I kind of thought they should have. But had Vegas won, it's like, all right, you beat a team that's traveling that played last night. You've been sitting on your ass for 3 days. Like, it's like, okay, congratulations, senior. You took a freshman's lunch money. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if I'm a Vegas fan right now, I'm probably I'm sure I'm pretty upset. I'd like to talk. Some Vegas fan needs to hit me up on Twitter and have just like a legit conversation where we don't be mean to each other. Because I'd be fascinated to find how they feel about their team and just the way that it's been managed and the way that they've kind of, grabbed every shiny toy off the shelf. And I want all the toys, yeah. But it's obviously, I think the over tinkering has probably done some damage to their cup window. Because like this is a team last year, that was my cup finalist was Vegas from the West.
Man.
And this year, if they make it, I'm probably calling them one and done.
Well, and this is what we were told about Peter DeBoer. You get his best the first year, and then after that, it's all downhill. So, I just, if Vegas misses the,
but I don't know if I like. I mean, look I am not a big Peter DeBoer guy. This is known. Anyone who's watched this show knows. I mean, I affectionately refer to Bob Bugner as Dollar Store Peter DeBoer.
But it's affectionate.
But it's absolutely affectionate. But like I look higher than I think DeBoer hasn't done that team any favors, but most of that damage has been done by their front office.
Oh, absolutely. But let's be honest. If Vegas misses the playoffs, I mean, I think DeBoer's going to be scapegoated, similar to how he was here in San Jose.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I feel like Gerard Gallant got fired for less.
And the funny thing is I've listened to our buddy Ken over at Sinbin, who has done some back and forth with the fans on Twitter Spaces and whatnot. And yeah, you can tell there's a whole group of Vegas fans. They're like, please, like, how fast can we show Peter DeBoer the door? They've also hated the way that the front office and DeBoer, how they've managed the goaltenders. And it's funny, a couple of the people that Ken was talking to has said, if you go back to when Vegas first came in to the NHL, it was very – there were a lot of people that were kind of like, yeah, go expansion team. We're rooting for you. They expected it to be another Atlanta or another San Jose or what, that it was – or a Seattle, the way Seattle is going.
Yeah.
They expected things to not go well. And then there was a collection, once they started – playing really well, and you had the misfits, and it was that whole narrative of like, it's this plucky team that you can get behind, and there were a lot of fans. And then by the end of, I don't know, I guess that Stanley Cup final or whatever, there were a lot of fans that were just like, I hate this fucking team. Like, they're like,
sure.
these guys are just filled with hubris. And the other thing is that, and again, I'm not talking about I'm not painting with a broad brush on the fans. Every fan base has their assholes, but
for sure,
there were a lot of fans were not making it easy, to be liked.
Oh no, for sure, right? Because they're like, because like obviously we all know this. We all know the score. We all know that the Vegas expansion draft wasn't your typical expansion draft, right? Like you weren't taking, guys 13th forward. You were going to get guys. And obviously the fact that Pittsburgh had their issue, which made Marc-Andre Fleury available, which obviously was a huge boon to them, right? Because, Seattle didn't really get that. I mean, I guess they got Gruber, but
I don't know. It's weird. PJ48 coming in hot on the super chat. Thank you so much. 5 goals in 65 minutes? Hey, it is what it is. I mean, it's no 4 goals in 5 minutes, but it is what it is. Hey, Puck Guy woke up. That's good. Woke up to a win. That's got to feel good. So with that, I can't wait to watch the chaos that occurs in Vegas should they miss the playoffs. And right now, last time I looked, I think they had like a 23% chance to make it. And
Matt M. So Matt M. Like, it's been widely recognized that Vegas has embraced the villain role. And look, man, if the Sharks get off to a start like that, I'd embrace the villain role too.
Sure.
Like, I would be all in on that shit.
But there were a few people that were talking to Ken that were just kind of like, I don't understand why so many people hate us. It's just kind of like hubris, buddy. A lot of hubris, a lot of winning. Let's see what humble looks like. And if you miss this season and then you have to deal with all that cap situation that's going to occur, and all, we'll see.
Yeah, what a mess.
Yeah. So anyway, let's take it to the beginning of the week here. That'll kind of wrap up the Vegas game. So look, 4 games this week. It felt like 4 weeks. The Sharks go 3-1 during those, and through 79 games, the Sharks have 76 points. I had them having 78 at this point, so don't tell me I'm a pessimist. But I do have them winning 2 of the final 3, but we'll see what happens. So from this week,
they can stop winning now. The winning's over.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing. What do we take from the week? It's like the Sharks are able to win a game on occasion. That's nice. The Sharks have lacked a power play, and that extra goal, although for whatever reason this week they were able to find it. And it seems as though we've learned that Barabanov really stirs the drink that is the Hurdle, Meyer, Barabanov, or the top line. Makes you wonder, why the hell hasn't this guy been signed yet?
Yeah, to me, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I understand, like, obviously, where you have like a situation where, the Sharks are obviously looking for a new general manager. But to me, this doesn't like, this deal shouldn't be complicated. I don't think that like this isn't going to be an 8x8 deal, right? Like, this is going to be a few-year deal at best for a little bit of change, but it's not gonna, like, the Barabanov deal isn't going to alter the landscape of the Sharks for time to come,
Yeah.
right? And so I don't know why this hasn't been done. And for all we know, like, we don't know anything. For all we know, maybe it's Barabanov waiting to see what kind of offers he's going to get in free agency to increase his offer from the Sharks.
Yeah, well, I mean, he certainly has all the leverage now. So, let's go to the first game of this week: Sharks versus Columbus. It's a 3-2 victory. Kahkonen starts. It was also announced, I believe, earlier in the day that Labanc had been officially shut down for the season. And why wouldn't he have been? we thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, it was weird though, because it was, for a bit there they were talking like, oh, he could be back, he might be back, and then nope, he's done.
Well, and I remember that with Erik Karlsson at one point. Like he goes off for some injury. They say, oh, he's day to day. 2 days later, it's actually going to be week to week. 2 days later, yeah, he's starting tonight. You're like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Very odd.
I've said this a lot, but like, the one thing with sports betting, like, I understand like it's obnoxious how much advertising it gets and everything else, but I am so happy for when sports betting is going to put an end to the cloak and dagger shenanigans of, oh, it's a lower body and he might be back tomorrow, but he probably will be out for the year.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
we're going to
Like,
come to
we
find out
don't
it's
know.
an ingrown hair on his big toe.
Right. Like, I'm hoping, because I feel like once sports betting really takes a hold in hockey, like, this nonsense has to end.
I would hope. Our girl, SJ Sharks girl with the radical face paint as always. Donating $2. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
23, scoring his first NHL goal as a SG is a dream shootout goal.
Goal.
But it's not
it
official.
sucks because it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't count. It sucks. But I mean, still great. Like, I mean, obviously I thought Bordeleau, I thought he had some trouble a little bit early in the game, probably gave over, hand over the puck a little bit easier than I'd like to see him do it. I think, again, like, this is his first time playing against a lot of guys in Vegas. Like, there's a lot of talent on that team. Like, we poke fun at Vegas, but there is a lot of talent on that team, right? And but I thought he adjusted. I thought he made the adjustments during the game that he needed to make, and I think once he adjusted to the fact that the guys that he was playing against, I thought he finished really well.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Bordeleau, we have to get back to the Columbus game. 3-2 victory. Besides Labanc being called out, looks like Hill is going to be shut down for the season as well. It's going to happen. But look, a new look Sharks power play. All of a sudden, they start 1-for-1. You got to go, hey, what's going on here? Couture puts it in front for Noah Gregor, the guy who never scores one.
Yeah.
Scott Reedy bangs home a rebound. You got Bordeleau with a gorgeous feed to Balsers. But Ferraro doesn't get his guy. Boquist buries it. The Sharks did challenge for offside and win. Dude, we talked about Ryan Ravine being the MVP. Dan Darrow's got to get a couple votes. I mean,
yeah,
he's seeing it all, dude. Has he called for an offside challenge this season that didn't go his way? I don't think so.
I don't think the Sharks, I can only think of one challenge where I'm like, what are you doing, Google? But other than that, the challenges the Sharks have made this year have been pretty good. There was one that was really bad. I remember, just because I remember tweeting, I'm like, that was a Peter DeBorian challenge. But other than that, yeah, no, I think you're bang on. I think that they've been really good about choosing their spots this year, as far as what to challenge and what not to challenge. And credit to them.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of this week, dude, the Sharks are just buzzing. They have that young dick energy. Thank you, Bordeleau, because you get Roslovic, who on the power play comes around, puts it in off hurdle skate, and you're like, oh crap, this is going to be a one of those unlucky games again. But you got to credit the Sharks for fighting with nothing on the line and winning 3-2 with all those cock blocks. Kahkonen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kahkonen's been so good too. that's another guy who I think, obviously it's a small sample size, so I don't know how much. Holy crap! I'll let you deal with the super chat and
Oh,
elephant.
whoa, 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 whoa! What? I thought I was like, oh, $10. That's so nice. Christopher Hogue, dude, talk about big dick energy.
Yeah,
Wow. A bit early, but thank you, Tealtown USA, for grinding out another great season of Sharks fan coverage in good times and tough times. Christopher Hogue, dude, gauntlet thrown. You are
yeah,
the
dude.
Sharks super fan of like the season, brother. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you. Very, very kind, and we definitely appreciate the kind words, whether they come with huge donations or tiny ones. I can't express enough how nice, even when you just hit me on Twitter, say, hey, yeah, nice show. Like, I warms the cockles of my cold robot heart.
Cold robot heart. It's there.
So what I was saying, but like Kahkonen's another interesting guy. Like, again, a small sample size. You don't want to get like too excited, but like if this team comes back, if Kahkonen can keep this level of play, if this team comes back with Reimer and Kahkonen, like goaltending's not going to be an issue. And I don't think goaltending was an issue this season.
Well,
to be fair.
And one thing, not whatsoever. I have no problem with the goaltending this season. But the thing that gets me is, what about the just logjam with goaltending? I mean, they announced Strauss Mann earlier this week, and not to mention the fact that you still have Magnus Krona around.
Yeah, Magnus Krona's going back to Denver next year, though, so that's not going to factor in this year. But he's still obviously a Sharks property.
And Sawchenko's just going to stick with the CUDA forever, right?
Yeah,
and
as he should.
Iman?
I mean, I don't know, man. We were talking last night in Discord. Me and Jerk and Lacey were in there, and one thing I will say though is, like, obviously, like, and this might come funny. You're like, oh, but Reimer and Kahkonen have been great, but is it time to question Evgeny Nabokov as the goalie coach?
I like that. Yeah, it maybe so. Because, I mean, Hedberg was ceremoniously kind of shown the door. I don't know if that was.
Yeah, and I think it's better than the Hedberg era, which also wasn't good. But I mean, you look at some of the goalies, right? Like, that have come through the system now, like Kozanash, Melnichuk, like all these guys gone. To the point where, like, the next year on the Barracuda, like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, obviously, Strauss-Mann that's where he's gonna be, and I think that's good. Like, that's a good swing to take. But I thought Melnichuk was a good swing too.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just, and sometimes they don't work out, sometimes they do. But yeah, I'm starting to wonder if we maybe should be asking some questions about Evgeny Nabokov as goaltending coach.
I can see that. Yeah, that's a conversation we can have over the summer. Chester Chivo, oh, my man, coming in. Thank you so much for the donation. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. So let's before we get too deep into the weeds with the goaltending thing, we can cover that in a little bit.
Oh yeah, I thought I'd throw that out there since we were on the topic.
No, I absolutely appreciate it. Sharks versus St. Louis is a 3-1 loss. Look, the fucking Blues are just a goddamn buzzsaw right now. So it is what it is. Thank God. Looking forward to Blues versus Golden Knights later this week. That's what I'm saying. The Sharks 0 for 1, 4 for 5 on the PK. Gregor open score. Wait a minute. Gregor scored again? Woo! Dakota Joshua ties it with a great pass from Brown, but it's tough to blame Reimer on that one. You get some missed coverage in front of the net. But Thomas, 31 seconds into the second, fires it top shelf on the power play. Ferraro unable to block it. It's 2-1. You're going, yeah, okay. It's as soon as St. Louis gets the lead, yeah, fucking just wave the white flag. It's over. Sharks get 3 straight penalties. Last 2 are kind of silly as fuck, to be honest. I mean, Nieto hooking Shen on the hands, and Shen knees go out as if he was tripped. I'm like, what, it was on the hands, bro. How did your knees collapse? Like, I'm surprised there wasn't embellishment there.
Yeah, it's a mess.
But look, it was the 9th loss for the Sharks in April. If you toss out empty netters, like I said earlier, I mean, the Sharks, they lose all those by 1 game. Imagine if their power play worked, or if just someone else could finish. And I thought Timo was a little invisible, which would come to play later, as it was said. Bugner sat both Timo and Hurdle down and to have a discussion.
Yeah.
And that would bring us to Denver Doyle in the chat. Thanks, Teal Town USA. Biggest position of need next year?
Defense. Defense and forwards. Like, their blue line is atrocious. No, obviously injuries have played a factor on the blue line here, but I feel like
I think the biggest position of need next season is general manager.
well, that goes without saying. I think I'd like to see them tinker with the blue line. The blue line's gonna be an interesting thing to try and dissect, obviously, because you have Marc-Edouard Vlasic, who I want to take a look at something here quick.
Well,
but like
you were talking about the goaltending. What if Kevin Weeks is the GM? I think he'd have some word on the goaltending.
Perhaps. Like here's the thing, right? Like tonight, Marc-Edouard Vlasic played 15-20. Now Marc-Edouard Vlasic's been absolutely ass this year. But you know who's also really not good on this blue line and is playing way ahead of where he should be? Nick Melange played almost 20 minutes. 5 minutes more. 4 minutes more than Vlasic? 4 minutes. Like, let that sink in for a second.
I can't believe you would disparage the good name of ass by comparing it to Vlasic.
Like, what is going on here?
If that isn't a red flag to Vlasic, like, again, my whole thing is like next season, if you've got Ferraro, Burns, you've got what? Carlson, Merkley, or something. I mean, we still haven't even mentioned Shimmick and Knizhov. Like Vlasic, I've said it a bajillion times now. They just need to make Vlasic the highest paid seventh defenseman in the league until all of a sudden his no trade list it opens up.
Oh. Yeah, or I don't know. Like, to me, like if I'm the general manager, I probably I think you have to leave Vlasic for another season. I think that buyout would be just atrocious if you did it this thing.
Yeah, that's why I say you eat it next season. You don't play him.
But I'm probably buying out Radim Shimmick.
Yeah, that one I would go with. That one I would.
I think that I would do that. And man, you have to probably try and find a taker for Burns. Like, you have to free up some money on this blue line.
Look at
right?
Lanicola in the super chat. Should we get rid of Burns or Vlasic first? Like, literally asking the question. I mean, dude, I would say Burns just because he'll get you something back. I can't imagine Vlasic.
Yeah, like Burns, I think you can make a hockey trade. I don't think you have to eat a ton of salary to retain on Burns. Like, I think
$1 million?
GMs would. I don't think you might not even have to do it. Like, if you can make a trade and take back, like, maybe you have to take back a not so great deal, but maybe it's a less painful deal than this blue line's cap situation.
I wonder if the Sharks will, because we've seen it before. We saw what they did with Cogliano this season. I wonder if Burns maybe instigates and says, hey, I'm looking at the tea leaves. I don't know that we're going to be a competitor next season, but if I'm going to be on a crappy team, I'd rather be closer to home and hang out with my boy. So hey, what if we can work out something with Dallas?
I mean, there's only so many, there's a few teams. Like, Dallas would make a lot of sense, but I don't. And here's the thing with other GMs, right? Like, other GMs are going to look at Burns and they're going to be like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. Like, because every GM thinks they've got a guy that Burns is going to be fine with, even though he's turned his partners into just defensive black holes. And anywhere where he would go, he's not going there to be the guy. Right. And that's the problem on the Sharks is I think Brent Burns, I'm not as sour on Brent Burns as everyone is, but I think he's miscast as a number one guy.
Yes. Yeah. 3/4. Absolutely.
Right. Like, I feel like at this point in his career, he would be much better as a middle pairing guy that you could probably shelter a little bit defensively and just throw out on the power play.
So who's your top pair next year? You thinking Carlson and Ferraro?
Man, I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know. Like I don't know what you do. Like that, and that's the problem with the blue line is like I look at it and I'm like, there's no easy answer there. Because I like Mario Ferraro, but I've said a lot this year, man. Like I like Mario Ferraro, but I don't think he's as good as Sharks fans think he is.
Mm-hmm. More of a 3-4 guy as well.
Yeah.
And what does not having a general manager going to do? You know, it's like you're looking at wanting to make some of these moves, and well, the Sharks don't have a GM. And I know that Becker on the media call when he was out there with Joe Will, were talking like, you know, this is going to be extensive. This is going to be exhaustive. This is going to be a long search.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you know, 10 days later. So Kevin Weeks is available. And
yeah. And like I'm seeing one like before we move on to the Kevin Weeks thing, like a lot of people talking about Knizhov in the chat. I hope he comes back and he's great, man. But like he missed a whole season. That worries the crap out of me, man. Like I want to think positively and think, yeah, he's gonna come back and he's gonna be a guy. But he missed a whole season.
Dude, you know what would be so Sharks? The top pair is Merkley and Carlson. That would be so Sharks. We're gonna put Carlson
defense option.
Put Carlson on the left side.
No more Carlson on his offside.
So yeah, we'll get to the Weeks thing in a little bit. Let's finish up Chicago Fan Appreciation Night. The Sharks actually sold out SAP Center.
Yeah,
tells you what a giveaway can do to goose the numbers, right? But look, the Sharks,
good crowd though.
Oh, great crowd! I was there; it was awesome. Puck Guy was there as well. Played an up and down game. They limited the turnovers, and Hurdle and Myers showed up because I guess Barabanov told him to. Told them to. They get a 4-1 victory. So, look, good times for that one and all. Speaking of which, I'll just show this off. Here is the jersey that they handed out last night. Got a couple of these, so we're going to be giving those away. Probably going to do it during our show next week since it's our last one of the season. So we'll come up with something fun. But I just wanted to let you all know that next Sunday, we're actually going to be on at 7 o'clock, the normal time.
I want to hit up Mark's comment in the chat here because I think he's right.
Is he talking about
think
the jersey?
If Burns, if Burns was gone, like the Sharks would, I think, like it would probably have a negative impact. But I look at this blue line as far as like the reason why I always go to Burns is because I think Burns is the guy you can move.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's why I go. Would the Sharks miss Burns? They probably would.
No.
Like I think that's true. Like I think they would miss him, but unfortunately, like they have to do something. They can't just keep rolling out the same blue line. And I feel like Burns is the guy that probably can get done without retaining a ton of cap that teams would actually want because no one's knocking on their door for Marc-Edouard Vlasic.
Yeah. No, dude.
Like, say what you will about Marco Vlasic, but the dude doesn't get injured, so he's not like an LTIR candidate or anything else, right? Like the dude plays every game, so no one's knocking on your door for Vlasic.
Mm-hmm.
Erik Karlsson makes too much money. You can't move Erik Karlsson. I don't think you should, but that's neither here nor there. So what does that leave you? Leaves you Burns.
Mm-hmm. Most movable. So. Anyway, yeah, we're going to give away these jerseys on the show next week. We're going to wrap up the week. We're going to wrap up the season. We're going to do playoff picks, so we'll get there when it is. Kevin reporting that I guess our buddy Ken over at Sinbin is having a meltdown. It is what it is.
Hey, man, like, ride or die, man. I'm not going to blame him. Like, again, like my take on the Vegas Golden Knights is I look at a team that should have been a perennial cup contender for the next 4 or 5 years that had their window just it's bumblefuck hockey.
Yeah. And but you know what, though, credit to Ken over there, because I mean he doesn't sugarcoat things just as we don't here. He speaks his mind, speaks his truth, if you will. He says whether you agree or not, he has his convictions, and he's pissed off because I heard some of the things he said. It's woof. Mikey asking who would take Burns. I'm sure there's somebody.
I think GMs would trip over their dicks to get Brent Burns.
I mean, certainly marketable, and like you said, 3-4 spot, if deployed correctly, doesn't have to play 26 minutes a night. Take it down to 21.
I think GMs would trip over themselves to get Brent Burns. And again, I say you have to move Burns because that's the contract that you could move.
All right. So once again, the Sharks go 3-1 this week. Oh boy, stock up, stock down for me, Bordeleau. But putting him as stock up, that would imply that at one point it was down. I don't think it ever has been. So,
I mean, credit to him, man, because it's hard to live up to the hype, and so far Bordeleau has absolutely lived up to the hype. So I give him stock up for that for sure, because again, we all knew that but we've seen guys, right? We've seen guys come in and are like, oh man, this guy's gonna tear it up, and then
flash in the pan.
They do nothing, right? So far, Bordeleau's done everything to live up to the hype. He tenacious forechecker. This guy forechecks like he's been in the NHL his entire career.
Creative skater.
Creative. Again, he unlocked Balsers, which praise be for that.
Found the combination.
Right? So, I mean, I think it's fair to put him in stock up. Absolutely, man. Because, again, living up to the hype's difficult, especially for a guy like Bordeleau. There's a couple of prospects that have a lot of hype around them. The two big ones are Bordeleau and Eklund.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Right? Those are the two that are in the same conversation
I felt
all the time.
I felt like Eklund isn't getting the hype, that Bordeleau is. Bordeleau seems to have had a bigger impact in a shorter amount of time than Eklund did. But then again, you're talking very beginning of the season versus the end, right?
Well, yeah, and you're talking a 20-year-old versus an 18-year-old too.
There you go. Dude, I got to give this one to to Jerry in the chat. He says, percentage... Oops, hold on, he hit the wrong one. Percentage of the chance that DeBoer gets fired and finds out via social media. Oh, dude, that's comment of the night, dude. Solid, bro. Love it.
Yeah.
Stock up Barabanov. Just stirs the Hurdle-Meyer drink. I mean, he came back, and all of a sudden those guys are playing well again because they've kind of gone on the milk carton for a few games.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's hard, right? And the other thing, too, that obviously needs to be said with that is when you're a one-line team, you have one line to shut down.
And when one of them is gone, it makes that deal a little easier.
Correct. Yeah.
Scott Reedy, 3 points in 3 games this week. I mean, hey, dude, anytime you can pull some points out of the fourth line, you're going, yeah, take it all day, all night.
Yeah, and my stock up, Noah Gregor, man.
Oh, he scored.
Yeah, he scored. It was funny because I can't remember who did it, but someone took this a screen capture from Beavis and Butthead to America.
Noah Gregor.
It's here lies Gregor. He never scored. Yeah.
Love that. Stock up, dude. Big Kak.
Yeah.
Kahkonen. Dude, 920 over 9 games. When was the last time a Sharks goaltender threw up a 920 over 9 games?
I mean, Reimer was at 947 for a while. So
yeah, you have to credit him with that. But just in the 9 games, 920, significant. Yeah. You're digging that. But if you look at the scroll up here, I've got him as one of the leaders this week, and it's 950 in 2 games this week. I mean, You can't ask for much more than that.
No, I mean, I know a lot of people really like Jake Middleton, man, but I think if Kahkonen keeps this up, no one's gonna remember who Jake Middleton was.
You so right. And plus, look, we talked about logjam at goaltender. A little bit of a logjam with the guy factory on the blue line.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, yeah, there's a lot of guys on the blue line. There's just... that's the problem.
But, you have... dude, there's still Hataka, right? There's still Knizhov. There are some pieces there that, let's be honest, if everybody is fully healthy at the beginning of the season, is Middleton playing for the Sharks?
I mean, he started... Jake Middleton came in and did so much for... given the opportunity, did so much with that opportunity, right? The guy started the season as the 8th, 9th defenseman on the team, probably on the depth chart, and came in and just blew the doors off and held down the job. And that pairing, him and Carlson, that pairing was so good for
Yeah,
so long.
very
Yeah, it didn't
reliable.
end well, but it was so good for so long when the rest of the blue line was just a black hole of awfulness.
Just imagine that, like, that's going to be Middleton's legacy here. It's like if Kahkonen, like, remains good, ends up being the number one guy for the next 3, 4, 5 years, however long, because what, he's only like 24, 25. So
Yeah,
if he ends,
and
if he,
Lacey bringing up like what he said last night, and he's right. Middleton was not part of the future with the Sharks. Like, I like Jake Middleton, but he was not going to be the guy. Like everybody was going to get a chance to take his job away next year,
dude,
right?
Fritz in the chat coming all the way.
Yes.
Hello from the Netherlands. Hello to you,
Hello to you.
good person. I will neither no assumptions, but yes, thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank
that. But yeah, I think, boy, if he's the heir apparent of the next 5-6 years, just imagine, like, that's Middleton's legacy here with this. It's Middleton. They need to do that same kind of Beavis Butthead tombstone. It's Middleton. He got us the cock.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, like I have nothing but love for Jake Middleton, man. Like, I love that dude, but he wasn't gonna be the long-term guy here. It was going to be guys were gonna get the chance to. He was gonna be the James Reimer of this situation, right? Like, he's the guy that you have to beat to get a spot on this team permanently.
Yeah. Any more stock ups for you before we move on?
No, I think that covers it.
So stock down, and I've said this before. Look, the Sharks, you're going to sit here until Barabanov gets signed. Stock down for you.
Fair.
Any other stock downs for you this week?
I mean, no, just my usual suspects, man. Like, I don't know what they see in Nick Melange. Like, and the fact that he gets more, like,
Hockey
the fact
jerk,
that
is that
Vlasic
you?
gets less minutes than Melange drives me batty. Like, it just shows how bad Vlasic. So Vlasic sucks, Melange sucks. Yeah.
Right, we got to move on to some takeaways here. So, like we said earlier, Labanc and Hill officially shut down for the season. Are we going to see anybody else shut down too? Like Shimmick, who hasn't played in however long. John Leonard still dealing with bruised bones.
I think they all, like, I can't see anyone else coming back into this lineup. Like, I feel like this is the lineup that's going to finish the year.
Yeah, like I'm surprised it hasn't been announced that 65 is down for this. You know, especially someone that injury prone. It's like, why take the chance when nothing is on the line? Just shut him down.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if he's even on the trip.
I don't believe so.
So I don't know. I mean, it is what it is at this point. Like, again, there's nothing to play for, so I'm not gonna get like super mad if Erik Karlsson doesn't play again this year.
Yeah. So Kane, evidently Evander began his grievance hearing over the Sharks contract at the beginning of this week. Seems kind of odd to do this now, as Edmonton is, fighting to stay in the second spot in the playoffs.
But that's the thing is, though, is you got to remember, like, they didn't choose. Like, this is when you have to go get this. You have to go get your arbitrator, right? And your arbitrator does other things, so he's gonna fit you in when his schedule. You don't get to tell the arbitrator when to come. The arbitrator comes when he has the time to do it. So I think, yeah, the timing probably sucks for the Oilers, but at the same time, it's like that's. You filed a grievance, and now the mediator, not the mediator, so the arbitrator is available now. You go now. That's just the way it is.
So what do you think about this whole Kevin Weeks leak about being the Sharks GM? Or
I don't
source
love it.
or whatever it was.
I don't love it. I've been very saying, like, I would like to see fresh ideas, right? And maybe Kevin Weeks has some incredibly fresh ideas. He doesn't really have any front office experience at all. Like, all his experience has been either as a player and as a broadcaster. So, I mean, that makes me a little bit nervous. I think Kevin Weeks is, he's so personable. Like, it makes me nervous because I feel like bringing in a guy like Kevin Weeks, and maybe he has some brilliant ideas that I don't know about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it seems more of like a PR thing, right? And again, I don't know anything about, like, I want to very, very say, like, I don't know what his ideas are. Maybe he has some great ideas on how to run a team.
Yeah, but could you imagine, like, we get the Kevin Weeks videos, like, seconds before they, like, whatever their draft is, he's, like, in a bathroom stall. He's like, okay, you guys, we're about to take this guy.
That would be amazing. But, like, so I wonder if, like, Kevin Weeks to me would make me nervous because it's, like, it always would make me wonder, is he running things or is he just the face of the operation?
Oh, that's true. That's
right. And that's the concern I get with Kevin Weeks. And again, maybe he has some brilliant ideas. I don't know.
Well, and it sounded as though, if I can't remember who mentioned this, but it sounded as though, like, Becker, somebody was quoted as saying, like, they definitely wanted a GM that would be comfortable speaking to the public, speaking to media, and that they don't want somebody who's going to, hide in a bunker or whatever.
So not Doug Wilson.
Oh, see, I figured it was just going to be so not Hasso Plattner. The guy who just part of the front office, or obviously owner of the team, but just you never hear from the guy. He's not comfortable. He doesn't.
You never heard from Doug Wilson either. Like, that's been a huge criticism of this team, is that, like, Doug Wilson, like, Hasso Plattner never comes out.
Yeah.
And Doug Wilson comes out on Groundhog Day. And if he sees the shadow, the Sharks are a cup contender.
To be
and if
fair,
he doesn't, then they're not.
To be fair, Doug Wilson has talked to us a couple times. So.
Yes, but compared to other, like, look in other markets though, Doug Wilson doesn't talk nearly as much as.
But is that a good thing?
GMs do in other markets. Your mileage will vary. It's hard though, right? Because we've never. This summer was a kind of a change for the Sharks because Doug Wilson came out and said what he was going to do, and it wasn't just a bunch of, like, the one criticism I've always had of Doug Wilson is he says a lot of words, but none of them mean anything. Mm-hmm. Like, this summer was kind of a change from that, where he came out and he kind of said, this is the plan, this is what we're going to do, and he did all of those things. But usually Doug Wilson is, he says nothing in 6 paragraphs.
Very political, very diplomatic. All right. The NHL. Oh, do we have a graphic for this, right? The NHL announced that the San Jose Sharks will open the 22-23 season in Prague, Czech Republic, as part of the Global Series. Team is slated to play 2 games against the Predators at O2 Arena on October 7th and October 8th. Sharks will also travel to Berlin, Germany. I'm sure they'll probably say hi to their owner. Prior to the games in Prague, to complete their training camp in an exhibition match against who? Elsbären Berlin. I'm sure I'm butchering the hell out of that. At Mercedes-Benz Arena, October 4th. So, look, if you got nothing to do at the beginning of October, but you have a lot of disposable income, there you go. Something for you to do. And for those of us, when we talk about Strauss-Mann, we wanted to let you know we're here for you. We know how you feel, and sometimes you just need that special graphic. So we give this to you as a special gift. Some of us are going to be for Strauss-Mann. Some of us maybe not so much. So here you go. Come on, man. Or it could be, come on, man. It could be used in either way. Just letting you know. That's our gift to you. All right?
I think the one thing that makes me concerned about this, right, is that, like, it's always cool. Like, obviously, like, Hertl getting to play a game in his home country to start the regular season is great. But, like, if next year is supposed to be the start of the turnaround, like, teams that generally start in Europe usually just die for a month. So,
yeah, on the vine.
Sharks, man, they're gonna start behind the 8 ball pretty hard.
Oh, let's hit the chat real quick because there's a couple good ones on here. Ricky, oh, what are you saying? Doug Wilson was very forthcoming. Do you remember that time he defined retool? Scott D saying, how much is Carlson really worth? Is there any way to get rid of him or restructure his contract? No.
Nope. NHL contracts are guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's why Evander Kane is fighting to get his money.
True that. Mikey J coming in hot. AJ rocks. I appreciate that. Thank you. But hey, Ian and Jerk are pretty fucking awesome too. Let's see here. The Barracuda are evidently releasing one of their new jerseys on the 28th. It would appear to be their alternate since it's black, but I'm hoping this is.
I hope it's legit.
Yeah, I hope it's the primary, dude. It's like, why have your minor team that already plays in your barn? Obviously, that changes next season, but like, I'm just like, dude, do something completely different from what they're doing. You look at the Stockton Heat versus the Calgary Flames.
I hate
totally
this
different.
new trend of the AHL jersey is just the NHL jersey with the the primary chest
Yeah,
and then
hate
the
it.
NHL team's logo on the shoulder. Like, it's so unimaginative.
Yeah, get nuts, man.
Yeah, I'd rather, like, I would like them to change it up and, like, because some, like, you look at, like, I like minor hockey jerseys, like, not minor hockey, but you know what I mean. Like, I like when the HL when they do their silly jerseys, or like ECHL jerseys are my jam. Like, the Olinda Solar Bears jersey is fire, and no one will tell me different. Like, do more of that, right? Have fun with it. I agree.
Sweet. So, look, just about everybody's locked in for the playoff rounds. Like I mentioned before, we'll have our picks next week for that. I'm sure.
We're also we're gonna do a bracket challenge too. So I will get that link out there again. Just keep it on the Twitter. We've tweeted it, I think, a couple of times so far. But if you want to get in on the bracket challenge, I mean, there's no, you get bragging rights.
Yeah, you and Jerk are driving the bus on that.
Jerk beat me to it. Usually I'm the guy that, like, sets that up, and I was like, what the hell?
Oh, I missed a memo.
Yeah.
So look, with 3 games left, when we talk to you again next week, again for our final show of the season before we go on hiatus. And now when I say our final show, we got Ian coming in here today, sitting in the Hockey Jerk hot seat because the Jerk man had to go to T-Mobile to make sure the Sharks got the Jerk bump. So,
yeah,
hit him up on Twitter and said, hey, thanks for making sure Bordeleau hit that. So
speak of the devil.
Oh, the Jerk man. What's up, bitches? Look at that. Look at that, man's. So when we hit you up next week, Jerk will be back with 3 games left. We're going to catch you up on the final 3. We got against Anaheim. Look, they're out. Getzlaf played his final game, evidently, earlier today. Is that correct?
Final game at home or final game?
Final game, because the rest of their season is on the road, and Getzlaf said he wanted his last game to be at Honda.
Oh, well, there you go.
So good on you, but they're out. and so the reason being, of course, is that San Jose will be hosting that game. Then you have Edmonton. Like I said, they're second right now, only 2 points of LA. Obviously, they want home ice.
Yeah.
But watching LA and Edmonton kind of dogfight while LA also has to, well, I think after tonight, I don't know that they're really looking in their rearview mirror at Vegas. So maybe it gives them the opportunity to focus on Edmonton. Either way, the Sharks are going to play Edmonton. Can they help play spoiler again? Will LA be on the Sharks jock once again, as they were?
I don't know. I think this has all been fun, and I feel like the season should just end for the Sharks now, and they should just forfeit the rest.
Speaking of a team that should forfeit, Seattle will be the final game for San Jose. That's in Seattle. Our own Puck guy is going to be up there. So you might want to check our social media, Twitter, Instagram, any of those things. I'm sure Puck Guy is going to be throwing a lot of stuff on there for that trip, just as Hockey Jerk hooked everybody up with his take on what it looked like in Vegas for the All-Star game. So now that Jerk is here, we can kind of poke a little fun at where we are with the dark horses. Look, Canucks are out. It's not happening. They blew it. Just similar to how Dallas had did when you heard from Ian earlier, just like they stepped on their own. Johnson, what are you going to do? Meanwhile, the Kings, so I will just take my victory lap. It's very rare that I'm right over Jerk, so if I have to sit there and yeah, feels good, my little victory lap, because like I said, I don't get them very often. So let's final thought this tweet of the week. Tweet of the week. Love it. Always love a good tweet of the week. And what do we have here? Oh, that's right. Rick Westhead came out and said Adidas is being sued in Florida for marketing authentic NHL team jerseys that are more accurately described as replicas, different from those worn by NHL players. Lawsuit alleges Jerseys are sold via fanatics.com and other third-party vendors, say the court docs. Well, if you look at those court docs, just about every goddamn photo in there is from an article that I published last June, July, whatever it was. So do I think anything is going to come from this? No. If anything, maybe they're just as a PR move, they do something where they change it to authentic prime green or something. Something should change. But anyway, little old me, I guess. I don't know. I bet you this guy's just like a fucking ambulance chaser, right? He just
I mean, I don't know, man.
looks around looking for people to sue. And
I don't know if anyone's like on like in the chat from Florida. So I don't like insult anybody, but like Florida man's definitely a thing.
Well, I just like the fact where it's you don't know how many people were like, dude, AJ, like, holy shit, did you do all the fucking heavy lifting in this? Like, this is very much the meme of, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, but don't make it too obvious.
I'm curious to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, like class actions commonly go nowhere.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't think anything's really going to come out of this, but we'll see what happens. Either way, to have my article and my name be a footnote in a class action lawsuit, it's kind of cool. Like, I guess you check that one off the bucket list. Other tweets, look, come on. San Jose Sharks. Who's rooting for the Sharks tonight? And the LA Kings respond with 3 hands up. You have to appreciate that. That's a giggle.
It was fun, right? Like watching the Dallas and LA Kings accounts kind of
kumbaya
poke at Vegas on Twitter. It was definitely amusing to watch.
Dude, it was the Spider-Man meme come to life.
It really was. Yeah. It's, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, apparently, for now. But next season it's back on LA, and we won't like each other again, and I can't wait.
And then, of course, though, the tweet that sent Ian just like, fuck again. The Sharks saying, we're going to take a quick break and watch about 10 minutes from our game on 4/23/19 for some good vibes. Let it go, man. It was 3 years ago. I know.
Here's the thing, right? Like, I want people to understand something here. Like, I don't hate this game. That game, okay, is like probably in the top 5 of hockey games that I have watched in my life. Top 5, easily.
But at some point, man.
At the same point, but we get reminded of it like every time we play the Golden Knights. Now, I don't know if you guys realize this. The Golden Knights are in our division. We play them a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I don't mind them bringing it up, but like, it's almost like, and the broadcast is going to broadcast, right? And I know like sometimes like, and I love Jamie Baker. Jamie Baker is a salt of the earth motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
But like, everyone, like, I would always kind of giggle when they would bring up like his goal in Detroit, like, 20 fucking 5 years ago or whatever it was. Yeah. Right? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, come on.
Yeah. It's just, look, it's all the feels and everything like that. But I totally agree with what you're saying. It's just like every time what is it? 5 games, 4 games.
I mean, it was brutal last year because of the way that the divisions were set up. So we played them like 8 times.
Yeah, but it's just they're in the division. It's just kind of, I guarantee you though, dude. Next season, the first time the Sharks play Vegas on the schedule next season, it's gonna go. Remember,
let's talk about this game.
No, yeah, it's going to be like, remember Bordeleau, Myers scoring with 1 second left. Then in the shootout, Bordeleau.
Right? Like, at least it's recent. Like, it's and not only that, but you're actually like with Bordeleau, you're actually pumping the tires of the future of this team. You're not just wanking to a team that doesn't exist anymore.
Thank you. So yeah, please. And what's funny, there's a lot of responses to that tweet that were just very much kind of like, y'all need to stop.
Like, don't get me wrong. Again, like, one of the top five hockey games. I've watched a lot of hockey in this lifetime, my friends, and that game is easily in my top 5. It might be in my top 3.
Yeah,
But like,
Yeah, you need to take it down a little. Like, it happened. We get it. We remember. Let it.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
fine.
Like, I don't need you to remind me. I remember. It was awesome.
Oh, let's see here. A couple more from the chat before we wrap this up. Let's see. They just post those tweets to piss Vegas off. Sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
Like, for sure, right? And
Hold on, is he talking about us or
them?
Let's see here. Trebone. AJ and Jerk, with all the rookies doing good at all levels, I'm thinking 2 years we'll be back in the playoffs. 3 to 4 will be a threat. Your thoughts? I mean, there's a lot of things that need to go right, but I mean, still.
I'm not there.
Yeah, I'm not there.
I'm not there, man. Like, like when we re-upped Hurdle, like I said, like this is the turning point here, right? It's not.
This is the way.
It wasn't like a lot of people would be like, oh, Erik Karlsson was the turning point. No, this is the turning point, because when you re-upped Hurdle, this was your chance to course correct, and you said, no, we're gonna basically keep going down this path.
Yep, same North Star,
right? So this is where, and I'm not sold like they're gonna get out of this quickly. Like, my concern is more now, maybe a new GM obviously changes the dynamic of this a little bit,
sure.
But my concern is that I'm going to look back at this year in 5 years and go, man, we could have course corrected, but now we've got 5 more years of pain.
Well, like you said, I mean, a GM could come in and lay waste to a lot of stuff, or could
for sure
say, hey, you know what, let's take a year, let's get acclimated, let's see where we're at. Who knows? But remember, you still have Timo. You have to deal with that situation. There's going to be, Ferraro, Barabanov. There's some pieces there that are obviously going to be looked at. But look, I will at least say this. This, as it stands right now, whether it's Eklund, Bordeleau, Robbins, Merkley, this is the most excited I've ever been about the Sharks pipeline ever.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And it just, if anything, it makes me want to spin myself into oblivion asking, why wasn't Tim Burke promoted, demoted, whatever? Why wasn't Junior given the reins a few seasons earlier? Because I mean, there's that stretch, 12 through 14, where it's like 3 straight drafts of just shit. And then you look at the last 3 drafts and you're going, oh, this could be fun. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for the Barracuda next year.
Mm-hmm. New barn, new faces.
I don't know who's playing the blue line for them, but I think goaltending's going to be better. The scoring's it has to be better. But the defense is still a big question mark, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. And maybe guys are healthy, and guys like Magna and Milosh go back down. I think Milosh is probably a tweener. I think he's not good, but I think a lot of the problems with Magna and Milosh this year they've been trying to play ahead of where they should be playing because of the way that the things crumbled. And if you look at that, extends down to the Barracuda too, right? And Kevin Lacey will tell you this as well, is like, yeah, like the goaltending wasn't good, but like the defense on this team was atrocious because it was completely pillaged by the Sharks. The Sharks absolutely pillaged that blue line. So you got guys that are ECHLers, trying to play big minutes on an AHL team, and it's not going to work.
But that's what the CUDA's there for, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, and that is what they are there for. But I mean, it does, like if you want to know what went wrong with the Barracuda this year, a big part of it is that the blue line got absolutely pillaged.
Love it. So you can follow him at Ian Blogs Hockey. You can follow me at AJ_Strong, and that dude in the middle represent at Hockey_Jerk. Remember to leave your take in the comment section of this YouTube video if you weren't able to watch it live. Remember, we're going to be giving away a couple of these Teal Together fan appreciation jerseys next week in our final episode of the Pucknologists before Jerk and I take a break, because as Jerk will tell you, we have a contract, and we are not obligated to appear if the Sharks don't play within one calendar week, and that is going to end next week. So now we're still going to be around.
Yeah.
You know,
There will be summer content. I don't know what summer content looks like yet. I'm not going to sit here and I wish I could tell you, yeah, and the summer is going to happen and TG is going to happen. Everything's going to be good. I'm not promising that because I don't know what the plan is, but we will do something. We always do.
Absolutely. I mean, look, that'll be the final Pucknologists episode of this season before we do the annual hiatus, but we will go live. There will be shows over the summer. Dude, there's the draft lottery. There's the draft, free agent frenzy. There's going to be new jerseys revealed this season, whether it's the Sharks or the Barracuda, both. There's reverse retro jerseys 2.0 rolling. There's going to be a tour of the new CUDA Arena. There could very well be an announcement that a new GM is coming down the pipe for the Sharks. So when the Sharks news happens, we will be on in some way, shape, or form. Teal Town Live, teal tinted glasses, something is going to be rolling. So
teal something.
I guarantee you, it's gonna be fucking Teal's gonna be in there, man.
it'll be teal something. I promise you that. But yeah, no, like when Sharks news breaks, we fix it.
Dude, we have to. Can we add that to our Steven? Somebody get the somebody in the truck. Get that quote on our cover photo for Twitter, please. So, famous last words for you, Ian, and thank you so much for filling in for the Jerk Man.
Yeah, awesome being on tonight. I'm glad I was glad to fill in, and I thought we had a good show. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Obviously, this is actually I don't think I'm scheduled to do any more After Darks this year, so this is my last hurrah of the season. Again, I will be here whenever stuff happens. I'm sure if I'm home, I will be on here talking about all the stuff that happens this summer. But this is my last technical show of the year. So I appreciate everyone who takes the time to listen, interact with me on Twitter, positive, negative, whatever. Appreciate it all. And thanks guys, because obviously without you guys, I would just be some dork talking to no one on YouTube, and that'd be sad.
Well, we might have to get you in next week since it's the last one of the season. We got to get your
I'm game.
We got to get your picks
for sure.
So for me, like I said, just join us next week. We're going to wrap up the week, the season. We're going to have the playoff picks. We're going to be giving away a couple of these fan appreciation jerseys. So it should be a good one. I don't know if somebody's going to be able to break it to Hockey Jerk that somebody donated 100 earlier to because he wasn't here. Somebody will have to figure that out.
Yeah, poor Jerk, man.
Poor Jerk. But, hey, he was too busy giving that bump. So everybody, do us a favor. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on social media, whichever one you prefer. And if you listen to the podcast on something like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, there's so many podcast apps, but whichever one you prefer, do us a favor. Leave us 5 stars or a cool review. Say something nice. Help us out. We certainly appreciate that. Help spread the word of Teal something, as Ian put it.
Yes.
Subscribe to the content, leave a review. That always helps. And you can find links to our social media, the podcast apps, and more in the description below on whatever one you're checking us out on. And you can always find everything on tealtownusa.com. Remember, we have, 3 more, right? We got 3
more.
Anaheim, Edmonton, and Seattle. And what does that mean? That means there are going to be at least 3 more After Dark shows this week. So they go on live following every single Sharks game. Make sure to go check those out. Thank you so much for your support tonight. Thank you so much to the guys who threw in the donations. We totally appreciate that. Helps keep this commercial free.
Absolutely.
You do not want to hear Ian talking about scaping his man. Manscaped.
That's true.
We don't. Nobody wants that. I don't want it. I don't.
Or Raid Shadow Legends.
None of that. Who does is it Dangle? Is he the one that does manscaping?
Oh, a lot. I mean, Manscaped throws around a lot of money on YouTube.
But what does Dangle
ads.
do though? I thought I've heard Adam do the whole Manscaped, and he'll go on for like
Probably.
3 minutes, and I'm like, man, dude, this went from a podcast to an infomercial.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, when you watch us, donate. And, it helps keep it that you don't have to listen to 3 minutes of us popping off about how to deal with your
deal with your junk,
Yeah.
or
Keep your-
stamps.com or Raid Shadow Legends or all the usual suspects.
Yeah, just you know what? The business between you and your junk should stay your business. So
There you go.
that's it, everybody. Thanks for checking out show 161. Catch you next Sunday at our normal time, 7 p.m. Hold on. What do we have before I hit the rip
No,
cord?
it's fine. It's just Sharky Boy.
Before I hit the rip cord. Oh, I want Ian to talk about manscaping. Well, you know what? He can do that in the.
No free ads, man. No free ads. Hashtag no free ads.
He can do that in the Discord. We'll see.
No, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, we'll see you there later. So anyway, good night, everybody. Catch you next week, normal time, 7 p.m. on Sunday, show 162, the final one of the season. Thanks, and Jerk getting in one last one. Should the giveaway from tonight's game be the bracket challenge giveaway? We'd have to know what you got, Jerk. So we'll discuss that next week. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great night.